I thought what might be a good kind of starting point in terms of reacting to the space was to divide the rooms into 4 zones. In the first main gallery here, we're treating this as the plaza, what we used to call public space. And the first gallery off the plaza we're treating as the art gallery. The second room is notionally the church. And the last gallery I'm kind of calling the school or university.
The brief here was to come up with something to punctuate the plaza area in front of this building.
Another of the new works that's been made specially for here at ACCA is another lecture. It takes the form of a PowerPoint presentation, and there's a series of images, half of which are taken in Melbourne and the other half in my hometown, Glasgow. And the images document the unimportant and the broken and the found bits of the city, bits of the urban landscape which are unimportant. Alongside that narrative, there's a voice that describes in great detail these images, directs you to the images. And for me, it's important that the voice initially is not mine, it's not the artist's. And more importantly, it's crucial that the voice is a woman's voice. I like the idea of, she takes the persona of an architect. And I like the idea of messing with the idea that the architect is not male. And also, it's good that it's a female voice so that we're not falling into the trap of history being written by the middle-aged man.
This is a small project, but a good illustration of what we do. We wanted to set up a relationship with this new green box and the textures and colours of the tree behind it.
So this voice rather officiously and a little bit patronisingly narrates these images.
We gave it a really strong, rigid grid front surface, which we felt was important given its location. And this in turn dictated the...
And what we're left with, I think, is a rather ironic and dry and at times very humorous kind of portrait of those two cities. These 4 spaces or places are where we gather and where we congregate. And importantly, these are places where we think and look, but also where we are looked at. So there's a viewing and being viewed kind of thing going on. And in this main space, you're presented with these rather beautiful poured concrete sculptures, which use the language of modernism. They also importantly use the language of permanent architecture. And I think there's a really nice brutal quality to them in terms of the material that they're inside. And they've clearly been made in situ, which I'm kind of enjoying the contradiction of that the exhibition is on for a period of time and these things really could be here forever. I think initially you respond to them and wonder whether they have a function, whether they're just a formal exercise, or whether they should be used. The first one actually, you have to walk on to move from the plaza into the gallery space. And then I think the audience changes from being mute to being active. The proposition is that you become more performative rather than viewing. Also what happens is the platforms become almost like plinths for other sculptures. So there's a really nice kind of scale and proportions and object function making material and a discussion with the architecture that's already existing within the building.